Om Jnanatimmirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavan Ebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're reading the Brhad Bhagavatamrta, and we're on the second chapter, and we're hearing about how Narada Muni is looking for the person who got the greatest mercy of Krishna.
我们正在阅读的这部书是《大伯加瓦坛甘露》，现在我们已经读到了第2章。Narada Muni 在找到底是谁得到了主 Krishna 最大的仁慈。
So Narada Muni had gone to the heavenly planets and he'd gone to Indra, but Indra sent him to Brahma. And now Brahma is telling him, actually, you should go to Shiva.
Narada Muni 就去了天堂，去找到了 Indra 呢，又把 Narada Muni 就让他去找主 Brahma， 主 Brahma 又让他去找主 Shiva。
Yeah, so Lord Brahma's describing, we're hearing Lord Brahma describe the glories of Lord Shiva.
我们现在在听到了 Brahma 是怎么样在荣耀主 Shiva。
So this is text number 84. This is text number 84 of the second chapter. So by Krishna's grace, Lord Shiva and his wife are able to give liberation to people like me. Brahma says, to people like me, who eagerly want it.
藉着 Krishna 的仁慈，主 Shiva 和他的妻子才能够，把仁慈，才能够给予像我这样的人解脱。
So important demigods like Indra and Lord Brahma, they have high positions in the affairs of the universe.
像天帝 Indra 和婆罗诃摩这样的重要的半神人，在管理宇宙的事物方面，他们占据着很高的职位。
And they do their duty for many millions of years according to our time. And after some time, they get a bit tired of the burden.
他们执行这个管理宇宙的事物是上百万年。在这期间呢，他们就有点疲劳了。
So, because they're doing so much service overseeing the universe, they think about getting liberation. They think that it would be nice to move on, to get out of the administration, to give up all the managing, and to think about liberation.
在服务了管理宇宙事务这个职位之后很多年，他们就变得有点疲劳，然后他们就想从这管理职位上退下来，他们想得到解脱。
Yeah, in the heavenly planets, there's a lot of opulence. It's very, very luxurious. But there are many demigods who actually keep the desire. They think they would like to get liberation. They just get tired of all the opulence.
这些半人们可以享受到天堂的富裕，还有他们能够享受到天堂的种种奢华， 但是这些半神们，他们都私下里都很想得到解脱。
So here we see Lord Brahma, although Lord Brahma is actually an empowered incarnation of Krishna, he is being very humble, and he puts himself like one of the lower, ordinary demigods.
虽然婆罗诃摩是主 Krishna 被授予力量的化身，但是他特别谦卑，他把自己放在一个很低的位置上。
And so he says, actually, I'm just another administrator, I'm just another manager, and I have my own motives.
所以在这里他就坦言说道：“我只是另外一个管理者而已，我也有我自己的动机。”
Actually, everyone who lives on Lord Shiva's planet, they're liberated souls.
事实上，无论谁居住在主 Shiva 的星球上，他都是已经解脱的灵魂。
And by the mercy of Lord Shiva, so many persons have become liberated, and even some of them go on to become pure devotees of Krishna.
藉着主 Shiva 的仁慈，有许许多多的人都变得解脱了，甚至还有人成为了主 Krishna 的纯粹奉献者。
Lord Shiva is eternally liberated. He's Nitya Mukta, and his devotees are also liberated.
主 Shiva 是永恒解脱的，是 Nitya Mukta， 他的奉献者们也是解脱的。
And many fortunate souls who live on planets like our own planet Earth, they've also been blessed by the mercy of Lord Shiva, and they got his instructions.
有许许多多其他的幸运灵魂居住在像我们这样的地球上，他们也得到了主 Shiva 的仁慈祝福。
And by the instructions of Lord Shiva, which they got from Lord Shiva, these souls, these great souls, they actually advance in spiritual life.
通过执行主 Shiva 给他们的教导和训示，这些灵魂，他们能够在灵修的路上进步。
And if we consider Lord Shiva to be different from Krishna, then that's a serious deviation in spiritual understanding.
如果我们认为主 Shiva 和主 Krishna 有不同、有区别，这便是在灵性理解道路上的一个偏差。
Krishna can tolerate offenses against himself, but not against Lord Shiva.
Krishna 可以容忍对他本人的冒犯，但却无法容忍对主 Shiva 的冒犯。
So we say Lord Shiva gets the mercy of Lord Vishnu.
主 Shiva 得到了主 Vishnu 的仁慈。
But we should understand that does not mean that Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu are different from one another.
但这并不意味着主 Shiva 和主 Vishnu 他们的形体二者之间有什么差别。
It's not like Lord Vishnu is different from the jivas.
这个差别并不像主 Vishnu 和个体灵魂 Jiva 二者的差别。
So in the scriptures, like the Padma Purana, there's 10 offenses against chanting Lord Vishnu's name.
在莲花往事书这样的经典当中，列举了对唱诵主 Vishnu 圣名的10项冒犯。
So one of the offenses is that if we see a difference between any of Lord Shiva's qualities and names and those of Sri Vishnu, then that person, he is an antagonist. He's an antagonist to the holy name. Antagonist, you know the meaning? Antagonist. He's He's against the whole. He's opposed to it.
就是谁要是看到主 Shiva 的品质名字和Sri Vishnu 的品质名字二者之间有什么差别的话，这个人是一个就是犯上作乱的人。
Lord Vishnu cannot tolerate offenses against Lord Shiva.
主 Vishnu 是无法容忍对主 Shiva 的冒犯。
Because Lord Shiva is the greatest of Lord Vishnu's incarnations.
主 Shiva 是主 Vishnu 最了不起的化身之一。
And Lord Shiva is empowered to distribute in the material world the taste of pure devotional service.
主 Shiva 就尤其得到了授权，被授予了权利，在物质世界来派发纯粹贡献服务的品位。
So, when Maya was the master of a place called Tripura, so this Maya demon, the master of Tripura, became very intoxicated with pride because of the benedictions of Lord Shiva. And at that time placed Lord Shiva in danger.
当 Tripura 这个城市的主人 Maya， 他因由于主 Shiva 给予他的赐福而感到陶醉沾沾自喜的时候，他就将主 Shiva 置于危险当中。
So when Lord Shiva was troubled by other demons, like Vrikasura, at that time the Supreme Lord saved him.
当主 Shiva 被另外的恶魔，比如说 Vrikasura 魔受到这个恶魔打扰的时候，至尊主便拯救了主 Shiva。
And sometimes, just to show the glories of Lord Shiva, sometimes Lord Krishna will worship Lord Shiva with devotion.
有的时候，为了传播主 Shiva 的荣耀，主 Krishna 就会崇拜以亲密的奉爱之情崇拜主 Shiva。
And so it happened that one time Lord Shiva gave power to this demon Maya Danava so that the demon could construct this Tripura.
有一次，主 Shiva 就给这个恶魔 Maya 授予他力量，让他建造了 Tripura 这个城市。
And in Tripura, he made a well of nectar that could revive the dead.
在 Tripura， 他挖了一口井，这口井的水呢，能够使人起死复生。
And another time, Lord Shiva gave the blessing to Vrikasura that anybody's head would crack. If their head was touched by the hand of Vrikasura, it would crack their head to pieces.
还有另一次，主 Shiva 就赐福了 Vrikasura 魔，他要是触碰了谁的头，谁的头就会立刻炸成碎片。
And Lord Shiva also gave blessings. He gave strength and power to demons like Ravana.
主 Shiva 也曾经给像 Ravana 这样的恶魔给予他力量。
So when Lord Shiva would give these blessings, then these demons would become very proud.
当主 Shiva 给予恶魔这些祝福的时候，这些恶魔就变得很骄傲自负。
And they would create trouble for Lord Shiva.
他们反过来会给主 Shiva 制造麻烦。
Just like the demon Maya made it very difficult to destroy Tripura.
就像玛雅魔使得要摧毁 Tripura 变得非常困难。
And Vrika, he got the power. He tried to test his power on Lord Shiva's head.
当 Vrika 魔得到力量的时候，他试图将这个力量运用在主 Shiva 自己的头上。
And Lord Shiva had to run for his life. To save his life, he had to run away.
主 Shiva 不得不仓皇逃命。
And Ravana, he moved the Kailash mountain from its base.
Rava 他曾经就使得 Kailash 这个山呢，它的根基都动摇了。
So every time Lord Krishna had to come to save Lord Shiva.
所以每一次主 Krishna 都会及时的赶来营救主 Shiva。
He saved Lord Shiva from Mayadanva because he came and he drank the well. He drank the well which was all the nectar to make people immortal. So Krishna came as a cow and he drank all the water in the well.
因为这个恶魔就是他挖了这口井，谁喝了这个井水就能不死。所以主 Krishna 就化身了一头牛犊，把井水全喝干了。
And Krishna tricked Vrikasura into touching his own head.
而且 Krishna 呢，也诱骗了 Vrika 魔，让 Vrika 魔触碰自己的头颅。
And when Lord Krishna came as Ramachandra, he killed Ravana with bows and arrows.
当主 Krishna 以Sri Ramachandra 的化身显现的时候，他用他的弓和箭杀死了 Ravana。
So Brahma points out that although Lord Nrsingadev had chastised him, the Supreme Lord did not treat Lord Shiva's offenses the same way.
Brahma 指出，虽然主 Nrsingadev 曾经斥责了他，但是至尊主却没有以同样的方式对待 Shiva 的冒犯。
Instead, when he replied to Lord Shiva's sorrow, Lord Shiva's regret, then Lord Krishna generally tried to encourage him.
相反，主他看到Shiva 的他的懊悔之情的时候呢，主反而试图鼓励他。
And just the example is when Krishna spoke to Lord Shiva about Vrikasura, he said to Lord Shiva, he said, just see how this wicked man has been killed by his own sinful reactions.
主 Krishna 就向主 Shiva 谈到了 Vrikasura 魔，他说：“看看呀，这个邪恶之人被他自己的罪恶行径所杀。”
And Lord Krishna said to Lord Shiva, he said, if somebody offends the great souls, then they cannot hope to have any good fortune.
主 Krishna 说，谁要是不幸冒犯了伟大的灵魂，那他就别指望有好运降临到他头上。
And so if they offend the person who's the master of the universe, in other words, Lord Shiva, then there's no hope of anything good. They won't get any good result. It'll just be disaster.
谁要是冒犯了宇宙之主，换言之，也就是冒犯了主Shiva的话，那么他就会灾祸临头。
And the Supreme Lord, in his incarnation as Parasuram, he also worships Lord Shiva in reciprocation to advertise Lord Shiva's greatness.
在主的 Parasuram 化身当中呢， 他也崇拜了主 Shiva， 以此来回应、来传扬主 Shiva 的荣耀和伟大。
And then Lord Brahma continues, he says, when the demigods and the demons were churning the milk ocean, at that time Lord Krishna was also present.
如婆罗婆摩继续说道，当半神人和恶魔齐力搅拌牛奶之羊的时候，主 Krishna 当时也在场。
So at that time, Lord Krishna, along with all the rulers of the universe, they chose to worship Lord Shiva.
在那个时候，主 Krishna 和整个宇宙的这些统治者们，他们选择崇拜主 Shiva。
And at that time, Lord Shiva, he drank all the poison which had been created by them churning the milk ocean.
在那个时候，主 Shiva 喝下了半神和恶魔搅拌牛奶之羊产生了毒液。
And then Lord Shiva also bathed in the presence of everyone assembled and was glorified with praise. Everyone praised Lord Shiva and everyone glorified him.
在那个时候，主 Shiva 就得到了众人的沐浴，而且呢，就受到了众人的纷纷赞扬。
So, when the demigods and the demons were churning the milk ocean, they produced this hala poison.
当半神和恶魔搅拌牛奶之羊的时候，产生出哈拉毒液。
But because Lord Krishna was present, there was no fear. They knew that they were safe because Lord Krishna was there.
但是正是由于主 Krishna 在场，所以半神人们内心并没有恐惧。
But Krishna decided that he wouldn't deal with the poison. He wouldn't do anything with the poison himself, but he asked Lord Shiva or he gave the opportunity to Lord Shiva to show his greatness.
在那个时候呢 ，Krishna 决定不去亲自处理这些毒液，反而他把这个机会给了主 Shiva， 让他展示他的神力。
And the Supreme Lord and the Prajapatis, they all honored Lord Shiva by chanting Vedic hymns and other prayers.
至尊主和那些 Prajapati， 他们都荣耀主 Shiva， 他们用伟大的赞美诗荣耀了主 Shiva。
So Lord Shiva was so impressed with them offering prayers to him that he took the risk to drink all the poison.
主 Shiva 对于给他献上的这些赞美的，给他留下了深刻的印象，所以他喝下了这汪洋毒液。
But his wife, Lord Shiva's wife, her name is Gauri, she was telling Lord Shiva, no, don't drink it, it'll be dangerous, you may die.
主 Shiva 的妻子 Gauri， 当时呢，她就极力阻止她的丈夫，说不要喝这个毒液，你会死的。
So all the demigods praised Lord Shiva because he did something which even Lord Vishnu had not done.
所有半神人们都纷纷赞扬主 Shiva， 因为主 Shiva 的这个壮举，甚至主 Vishnu 都没有做这种壮举。
And when Lord Shiva drank the poison, at that time his throat became blue, and you see the blue marks on the throat of Lord Shiva, which are the identification. You can identify Lord Shiva from that.
由于主 Shiva 喝下了这个汪洋毒液，所以他的喉咙就变蓝了。所以人们可以通过主 Shiva 这个蓝色的喉咙来辨认他。
So in the Puranas also speak about Lord Hari meaning Lord Vishnu, that he's very compassionate to Lord Hara, towards Lord Shiva. So Lord Vishnu's very compassionate towards Lord Shiva.
往事书当中也称颂了主哈瑞，主哈瑞就是主 Vishnu，主哈瑞对主哈拉的怜悯之情，而主哈拉是指的主 Shiva。
So Lord Brahma says to Narada Muni, you must know all this, and you know more. So to remember these things, you need only to use your memory.
主 Brahma 就对 Narada 说，所有这一切呢，你已经都一清二楚了，所以你只需要来记忆他们就好了。
So Lord Hari, Vishnu, his relationship towards Lord Shiva, Lord Hara, is like that between a father and a son.
主 Hari 也就是主 Vishnu， 他对于主 Hara 就是主 Shiva 的情感和态度，就像父亲对于儿子的爱。
And Narada can remember different pastimes where Lord Shiva showed his greatness, just like when he blessed Lord Krishna to have an excellent son who was Samba.
Narada 可以回忆起主 Shiva 曾经做过的、曾经展示的其他的荣耀事迹，比如说主 Shiva 曾经祝福了主 Krishna 拥有一位优秀的儿子 Samba。
So then Narada Muni bowed down to his spiritual master, Lord Brahma. And when Brahma saw that Narada was eager to go to Kailash to see Lord Shiva, Brahma then told him something more.
之后 Narada 就向Brahma 致以禀拜。当 Brahma 看见 Narada 渴望去 Kailash 的时候，他就对他说了更多的一番话。
And we should understand the father is like a kind of spiritual master. And if he has given instructions in Krishna consciousness, then definitely he's like a spiritual master.
我们当理解一位父亲就像一位灵性导师，倘若他要是在 Krishna 知觉当中给予了什么训示的话，那么他的角色呢，就是一个灵性导师的角色。
And Brahma is the father of all fathers among the living entities.
在所有众生当中，婆罗诃摩是所有父亲的父亲。
And Brahma's youngest son is Narada. So Lord Brahma taught Narada the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Narada 是 Brahma 的最小的儿子、幼子，因此 Brahma 教导 Narada 了圣典婆伽瓦坛的科学。
And Lord Brahma knows everything within the universe. So he knew that Narada wanted to go to Kailash, where Lord Shiva lives.
Brahma 是在宇宙当中，他无所不知，因此他就了解 Narada 想要去开拉什山的心愿。开拉什是主 Shiva 的居所。
So Narada Muni was up on Brahmaloka. He was at Brahma's place where Lord Brahma lives. And that's at the top of the universe. So he was looking in the direction of Kailash. And Brahma decided to suggest a better idea. He said, I have a better idea. Because he saw that Narada was thinking to go to Kailash to see Lord Shiva.
Brahma 就注意到了 Narada 他在Brahmaloka 上，他在看向了主 Shiva 的居所这个方向，在向上看。因此呢 ，Brahma 就决定给 Narada 一个更好的建议。
So Brahma says to Narada Muni, he tells him, he said, one time Kuvera got the gratitude of Lord Shiva by worshipping him.
Brahma 就对 Narada Muni 说，有一次古威尔就因为崇拜了主 Shiva， 所以得到了非常受到主 Shiva 的感激。
And from that time, Lord Shiva has surrendered to Kuvera's authority, accepts Kuvera as his authority, and Kuvera's there on Mount Kailash.
从那时候起呢，主 Shiva 就承认了主库维尔的权威，就在库维尔的凯拉什山上确立了库维尔的权威。
So Lord Shiva lives there as a guardian of Kuvera's side of the heavenly sphere.
就在库维尔他所占据的这个天堂的这一个区域当中呢，主 Shiva 就成了库维尔的园丁。
And Lord Shiva is accompanied by many different attendants, but Lord Shiva only shows a small fraction of his opulence.
主 Shiva 他有许许多多的侍从陪伴，但是他只是展示了他的一小部分富裕而已。
So Kuvera is the treasurer of heaven, and he rules the northeast region in the heavenly planets.
库维尔是天堂的司库，他是掌管着天堂的东北方。
So Lord Shiva was pleased with Kuvera, although Lord Shiva is very elevated in the universe, he was so pleased with Kuvera that he became Kuvera's servant, and he became like Kuvera's guard.
尽管主 Shiva 在宇宙当中，他有一个很高的地位，但是他对库维尔非常满意，以至于他成为了库维尔的就是看门人。他甚至为库维尔做一个卑微的服务。
And Lord Shiva, with his wife Uma, and many of his different associates and servants, they're all there with Lord Shiva in Kailash.
主 Shiva 的妻子 Uma 以及主 Shiva 的有许许多多的朋友和仆人们，他们都在开拉什那里陪伴着主 Shiva。
And this Kailash, if you compare it to Lord Shiva's eternal abode, Lord Shiva has his eternal abode outside the universe. So Kailash in the universe is very modest in opulence and entourage.
主 Shiva 在这个宇宙之外有他自己永恒的居所，所以与那永恒的居所相比，在这个宇宙当中的主 Shiva 的开拉什，在富裕和他的同游的数量方面呢，只是非常的微不足道的。
So Brahma is telling Narada Muni that if you go to see Lord Shiva at Kuvera's Kailash, you won't be able to see the real opulence of Lord Shiva.
因此 Brahma 就对 Narada 说，如果你在库维尔的凯拉什那里去见主 Shiva 的话，你不会充分的理解主 Shiva 的富裕。
You won't understand that Lord Shiva is so much greater than me.
你不会理解主 Shiva 比我要富裕得多。
Just like Lord Krishna brought Lord Krishna brought under, just like Lord Krishna is controlled by the devotion of his servants.
就像主 Krishna 受被他的仆人的奉爱控制。
right? Servants like Lord Brahma. And because of that, he resides on my planet. Because of the devotion and service of Lord Brahma, Lord Krishna resides on his planet.
由于Brahma 的奉献和他的服务之情，所以 Krishna 就居住在他 Brahma 的星球上。
And in heaven and other places, Lord Shiva lives in Kailash, displaying his pastimes.
在天堂以及其他的地方，主 Shiva 就居住在 Kailash， 展示着他的逍遥。
So the point is, Lord Krishna reciprocates with his devotees in the world, devotees like Brahma and Kashyapa and others, by living with them personally.
要点就是至尊主和他的奉献者，比如说 Brahma、Kashyapa 等等这样的奉献者之间有着爱心的交流，他和他们就
Lord Krishna not only lives with them in heaven, but even below heaven, on the earth, and even sometimes in the lower planets.
主 Krishna 不仅仅和他们居住在天堂，还居住在地球以及甚至比地球还要低的区域。
And there's a planet above heaven, Mahaloka, and Lord also lives there with the devotees.
在天堂之上还有另外一个区域叫 Mahaloka， 主 Krishna 也和他的奉献者居住在那里。
And when
Recording stopped.
And when Lord Krishna comes, he always comes with his different paraphernalia and family and friends and perform his pastimes.
每当主 Krishna 降临的时候，他都和他的随身用具、家人、朋友们一起显现。
So Lord Brahma is telling Narada Muni, he said, there's another abode of Lord Shiva which lies outside the 7 coverings of the universe.
主婆罗诃摩告诉拿拉达说，主 Shiva 还有另外一个居所，是在这个宇宙的7层覆盖之外。
So this is described in the Vayu Purana.
这在瓦尤往事书当中描述了。
So it says the material universe, we know the material universe is like a coconut, is covered with different layers.
我们知道这个物质宇宙就像一个椰子，它被不同的层所覆盖。
There are 7 different coverings over the universe.
这个宇宙被7个覆盖层所覆盖。
So outside of all these coverings is the imperishable realm of Lord Shiva.
在所有这些覆盖层之上的是主 Shiva 那不会毁灭的区域。
So the planets inside the shell, they're temporary products of the material nature.
在这些外壳之内的这些星球，都是物质自然短暂的临时的产物。
But the abode of Lord Shiva is not a creation of Maya.
但是主 Shiva 的居所并非玛雅的创造物。
And in Shiva Loka, there is no unhappiness.
在 Shiva 的星球上没有不快乐。
That world is attained by the best of Lord Shiva's devotees.
那个世界是由主 Shiva 的最优秀的奉献者们所争打。
And the devotees of Lord Shiva who understand him to be not different from Lord Krishna,
主 Shiva 的奉献者们理解他和主 Krishna 没有区别。
not like the Shivites who are karmis or gyanis, or who worship Lord Shiva as an independent supreme controller.
并不像那些哈米国报工作者或者是 Gyanis 辩家的那些 Shivites， 他们把主 Shiva 当作是独立的至尊控制者来崇拜。
So eternal and full of happiness, that abode of Lord Shiva is absolutely real.
主 Shiva 的那个居所是永恒而充满的快乐的，是绝对真实的。
And the people who go there,
Recording in progress.
the people who go there are the best of Lord Shiva's servants.
能够去真达那里的是主 Shiva 的最优秀的仆人。
So Lord Shiva is served by all these by many great personalities. He reveals himself in his full splendor, surrounded by companions who share opulence and beauty equal to his.
在那里，主 Shiva 就由他的最优秀的、出色的仆人们所侍奉。他在那里展示了他全部的辉煌，他由那些和他拥有同样的富裕和美丽的同伴们所环绕。
And the personal deity of Lord Shiva is Lord Sankarshan. And Lord Sankarshan is not different from Lord Shiva.
主 Shiva 的私人神像是主 Sankarshan， 主 Sankarshan 和他本人没有区别。
So Lord Shiva displays many wonders.
主 Shiva 展示了许许多多的奇妙。
So we're describing this is the original abode of Lord Shiva, and it displays his full opulence.
我们刚才描述的是主 Shiva 最原初的居所，它展示了主 Shiva 全部的富裕。
And it has his always existing eternal palaces and airplanes, and his unequal assets, his own assets of religion and wealth and everything.
这些富裕就包括那些永恒长存的宫殿、飞机，以及无与伦比的他的私人的、他的个人的财富，包括宗教、富裕、感官享乐和解脱。
As well as he also displays his devotion to the Supreme Lord.
他还展示了他对至尊主的奉爱。
And he shows his different symbols of rulership because he has jewelry and he has different fans and royal umbrellas which are greater than even Brahma and the other demigods.
主 Shiva 有他特有的这个展示他统治权的象征，比如说珠宝，还有浮尘以及皇室的华盖，这些都超过了 Brahma 和其他半神人。
And on Shiva Loka, Lord Shiva always worships the Lord in the form of Sankarshan, who has thousands of serpent hoods.
在 Shiva 的星球上，主 Shiva 总是崇拜主 Sankarshan 的形象，他是有着上千个头棚的蛇的样子。
So Lord Sankarshan and Lord Shiva are both incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they are not different.
主 Shiva 和主 Sankarshan 二者全部都是至尊性格神手的扩展，因此他们没有区别。
So when the time comes for the universe to be annihilated, Rudra will Rudra will appear from Sankarshan to destroy everything.
当物质宇宙毁灭的时刻来临之际 ，Rudra 就会从 Sankarshan 那里显现出来，来毁灭这个宇宙。
So that Rudra, he is an aspect of Lord Shiva, who presides over the material mode of ignorance.
那位 Rudra 是主 Shiva 的一个特殊的特征，然后他就主宰着物质的愚昧属性。
So when people see Lord Shiva worshipping Sankarshan, they become astonished.
当人们看见主 Shiva 崇拜 Sankarshan 的时候，他们变得惊讶不已。
They can see that they're both expansions of the Supreme Lord, and one expansion of the Supreme is worshipping another expansion.
他们二者都是至尊主的扩展，而至尊主的一个扩展在崇拜至尊主的另一个扩展。
And they become really astonished when Lord Shiva dances in ecstasy and when he offers prayers.
当他们看见主 Shiva 跳舞，并且献上祷文的时候，他们变得的确，他们变得惊讶了。
And Lord Shiva's worship of Lord Sankarshan, we can also see this in the earthly planetary system. If you go to Ilavrita-Varsha.
主 Shiva 对于 Sankarshan 的崇拜，也可以在地球的这个平面的区域可以看到，在被称为 Ilavrita-Varsha 的地区。
Sukadeva Goswami describes in the 5th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 17.
Sukadeva Goswami 在圣典博伽瓦坛第5篇第17章当中描述了。
So Lord Brahma tells Narada Muni, you have the power to go there because you have pure devotion for him.
说婆罗护摩告诉拿尔的穆尼说，你有能力可以去那里，因为你拥有对他的纯粹的奉爱。
So you should go there and take shelter of him and see the real mercy of Lord Krishna.
因此，你应当去，并且托庇于他，你可以亲眼见证 Krishna 的真正的仁慈。
So Narada respects Lord Shiva properly. He knows that Lord Shiva is an expansion of Krishna, not different from Lord Krishna.
Narada 正确的尊重了主 Shiva， 因为他知道主 Shiva 是主 Krishna 的一个扩展，跟主 Krishna 没有区别。
So Narada loves Lord Shiva with spontaneous devotion.
因此 Narada 就怀着自发的奉爱，爱着主 Shiva。
And he can go to Shiva Loka if he wants. Nobody will stop Narada from entering Shiva Loka.
如果 Narada 愿意的话， 他可以去那里，没有任何人可以阻止他进入 Shiva 的星球。
And if Narada goes there and takes shelter of Lord Shiva and offers prayers, he will be able to see the mercy of Krishna in the ecstasy and the opulence of Lord Shiva.
倘若 Narada 去那里托比于主 Shiva， 向主 Shiva 献上尊敬和赞美，他就能亲眼看见主 Shiva 在狂喜和富裕当中得到的主 Krishna 的仁慈。
So after Narada Muni heard all of this from Lord Brahma, then Narada Muni left for Shiva Loka, and he was chanting, Shiva, Krishna, Shiva, Krishna.
Narada 从主 Brahma 那里得到了讯息之后，他就启程前往 Shiva 的星球，嘴里在呼喊着 Shiva, Krishna, Shiva, Krishna.
So Brahma had been telling Narada Muni that he should have faith in Lord Shiva as being not different from Lord Krishna.
Brahma 就告诉 Narada Muni 说，他应当对主 Shiva 和主 Krishna 二者之间没有差别这一点充满信心。
So this was nothing new to Narada Muni. Narada Muni knew this, but still he was inspired to hear it from Lord Brahma.
这对于 Narada Muni 来说并不是什么新鲜的事情，但是他听 Brahma 这么一说，他依然感到十分的振奋。
So he was happy to get the opportunity Brahma was giving him to show the world the extent of Lord Shiva's glories.
Narada 对于 Brahma 给予他这个机会，能够向世人展示主 Shiva 的荣耀的机会，他感到非常的高兴。
But Narada was also curious about what he would find when he got to Shiva Loka.
但是 Narada 对于当他到达 Shiva Loka 的时候，他将找到什么，他仍然感到好奇。
So we're going on now to chapter 3, and chapter 3 is called Prapanchatita, meaning beyond the material world.
现在我们进入到第3章的内容，标题是 Prapanchatita， 超越物质世界。
So we heard that Shiva Loka is not in the material world, it's beyond the coverings of the world, the universe.
我们刚才听到 Shiva 的星球呢，并不在这个物质宇宙，它是在物质宇宙覆盖层核之外。
So Narada Muni arrived in Shiva Loka, and he could see from a distance, he could see Lord Shiva.
所以 Narada Muni 就来到了 Shiva 的 Loka， 他远远的就可以看见 Shiva。
And he could see that Lord Shiva had just finished his worship of Lord Sankarshan.
他可以看出来，主 Shiva 刚刚崇拜了主 Sankarshan。
So Lord Shiva was in ecstasy, and he was dancing and singing the glories of the Lord. And his associates were playing instruments, music, and they were shouting, Jai, Jai.
主 Shiva 呢，他就处在狂喜的爱当中呢，他在歌载舞高声的唱颂着他的主的荣耀，而他的同游们在演奏着那些乐器，同时高呼着 Jai Jai。
So Narada has assistants. One of them his name is Nandishwara, and Lord Shiva is praising them, and he's also praising his wife Uma, because she's expert. She was clapping her hands, so Lord Shiva was appreciating them.
Narada Muni 呢，就怀着巨大的奉爱，赞扬了主 Shiva 的助手，比如说 Nandishvara， 以及主 Shiva 的妻子 Uma， 因为 Uma 呢特别擅长于在主 Shiva 载歌载舞的时候，在旁边击掌附和。
So Narada Muni saw this, he was very happy to see all this, and Narada Muni vibrated his veena and he was nodding his head to show respect. And he called out many times, he called out several times to Lord Shiva, "You are the greatest recipient of Krishna's mercy."
这一幕景象就使得 Narada 内心非常的欢喜。Narada 一边弹奏着他的维纳琴，一边点头示意来表示尊敬。好几次呼喊道：“你是主 Krishna 最仁慈的最大的接受者。”
In a very sweet voice, Narada Muni told Lord Shiva about everything Lord Brahma had told him about Lord Shiva.
Narada 以甜美的声音，他就告诉主 Shiva， 由 Brahma 告诉他的一切。
Okay, so we'll stop here.
好的，我们就正课讲到这里。
Are there any questions today?
Not yet, Maharaj.
Should we keep talking?
大家有问题？
Will we keep reading?
Yes.
Okay. So Lord Shiva had just finished worshipping Lord Sankarshan, his deity of Lord Sankarshan.
此刻，主 Shiva 刚刚完成了对他自己的神像主 Sankarshan 的崇拜。
And the method of worship which Lord Shiva was doing was like that which Narada had seen before when he was at Prayag on earth.
主 Shiva 的崇拜，和 Narada 之前在地球上的 Prayag 所目睹的那些崇拜程序呢，很相似。
But the only difference was at the end of the worship, Lord Shiva showed the symptoms of ecstasy.
唯一的区别就是在这个崇拜结束之后，主 Shiva 展示了狂喜的征候。
Worshipping the Supreme Lord, worshipping the deity of the Lord, attracts both the new devotee and the advanced devotees.
崇拜至尊主的神像形象呢，它这个方法吸引了新奉献者，以及吸引了进步的灵魂。
But the devotees who are fully advanced, fully self-realized, they enjoy intimate relationship with the deity.
但是完全自我觉悟了的奉献者们，他们享受的是和他们崇拜的神像之间的亲密关系。
And for these devotees, the Lord accepts even the simplest act of devotion, and it can bring ecstasy.
对这样的奉献者而言，主会接受他们最简单的奉爱的举动，而这个能给他们带来最深刻的奉爱狂喜。
So that's why Narada saw Lord Shiva. When he came there, he saw Lord Shiva was doing Sankirtan, and he was reciting prayers to Lord Sankarshan.
因此，所以 Narada 就发现呢，主 Shiva 就在 Sankirtan 的神定当中，他在背诵着对主 Sankarshan 的祷告。
And he was reciting the prayers which are there in the 5th canto Srimad Bhagavatam.
他背诵的这些祷文就在圣典博伽瓦坛的第 5篇第17章。
You are the only worshipable person. You are the supreme personality of Godhead, the reservoir of all opulences.
这祷文是这样的：你是唯一的值得崇拜的人，您是至尊性格神手，是所有富裕的储藏所。
And your lotus feet are the only protection for all your devotees.
您的莲花足是您所有奉献者的唯一的保护。
And you satisfy your devotees by manifesting yourself in different forms.
你通过把自己展示为各式各样的形体，来满足了您的奉献者。
And you deliver the devotees from the material existence.
您将奉献者从物质存在当中拯救出来。
And the non-devotees, they're entangled in the material existence.
而非奉献者们，他们却卷入了物质存在的束缚当中。
So please accept me as your eternal servant.
请接受我做您永恒的仆人。
So we should understand that Lord Shiva is an incarnation of the personality of Godhead.
我们应当明白，主Shiva是至尊性格神手的化身。
So Lord Shiva and the personality of Godhead are not different.
主Shiva和性格神手没有差别。
Lord Shiva doesn't need to worship Lord Sankarshan to become purified.
主Shiva不需要为了净化来崇拜主Sankarshan。
But Lord Shiva worships Lord Sankarshan to educate the world about the taste of devotional service.
但是主Shiva崇拜主Sankarshan，来教育世人奉爱服务的品味。
Now, Brahma is also an incarnation of the personality of Godhead. But Shiva and Brahma are not equal in status.
Brahma 也是至尊性格神手的一个化身，但是 Shiva 和 Brahma 他们却不在同一个层面上。
Lord Shiva is not different from Vishnu in a more literal sense. In the actual sense, Lord Shiva is not so different from Vishnu. But the post of Brahma, that's usually given to a jiva.
从实际的意义上来说，主Shiva和主 Vishnu 二者之间是没有区分的。但是 Brahma 和护摩的这个职位呢，通常总是由那些个体灵魂 Jiva 所占据着。
But no jiva can ever become Shiva Tattva. No jiva can take that position of Lord Shiva.
但是没有任何一个个体灵魂 Jiva 可以占据主Shiva的地位。
And many scriptures describe to us that Lord Shiva is not different from Lord Vishnu.
许多的经典都向我们描述说，主Shiva和主 Vishnu 二者没有区别。
And in the Padma Purana, there's the 10 offenses. So one offense is if we make a difference between Lord Shiva's qualities and names and those of Lord Vishnu.
在 Padma Purana 当中呢，有10项冒犯， 描述了对主 Vishnu 的圣名的10项冒犯，其中之一就是谁要是看到主 Shiva 的品质和名字和主 Vishnu 的名字品质之间有什么区别。
But there's no offense like that in relation to the non-difference of Brahma and Vishnu.
但是在就是 Brahma 和 Vishnu 的二者之间没有区别，在这个范畴当中呢，却没有这种训示。
And the scriptures tell us that there are people like Vasishta who are certainly jivas, and they will become Lord Brahma in their own universe in future lives.
有些经典描述说，像 Vasishta 这样的人物，他们无疑是个体灵魂 jiva， 但是在将来来世，他们在各自的宇宙当中会成为主婆罗婆摩。
And so theoretically, any jiva can become Brahma.
从理论上讲，任何个体灵魂都可以成为婆罗婆摩。
And this was told by Lord Shiva when he told the Prachetas, he instructed the Prachetas.
当主 Shiva 教导 Pracheta 们的时候，他告诉他们
He told the Prachetas, anybody who strictly follows his duty, his occupational duty without deviation for 100 births, then he becomes qualified to get the post of Brahma.
他对他们说，谁要是严格的执行了他的附定职责，没有任何偏差的执行了，那么这样执行100世之后，他们就有资格占据婆罗婆摩的职位。
And if he becomes more qualified, then he can go on to approach Lord Shiva.
倘若他们变得更有资格，他们就可以去接近主 Shiva。
So the jiva can join Shiva, but he cannot become Shiva.
这些个体灵魂 Jiva， 他们可以加入主 Shiva 的行列，但是他们不能成为 Shiva。
So Narada included Lord Shiva in his search for the person who gets the greatest mercy from the Supreme Lord.
Narada 在寻找是谁得到了至尊主最大的仁慈的时候，他把主 Shiva 就放在了自己的名单当中。
Narada did this because Lord Shiva is a special incarnation of the Lord, and he comes in the form of his own devotee.
那Narada 就是这样去做，是因为主 Shiva 是主的一个特殊的化身，是以他自己的奉献者的形象而显现的。
The followers of Lord Shiva, whom Narada saw on Shiva Loka, were all great devotees.
Narada 在 Shiva Loka 上所见到的主 Shiva 的追随者们，全都是伟大的奉献者。
They were Vaishnavas, and they developed great bhakti for Lord Vishnu.
他们是 Vaishnava 们，他们发展出对于 Vishnu 的奉爱。
Lord Shiva praised them for their skill in accompanying him in the kirtan.
主 Shiva 就赞扬了他们陪伴着他本人一起从事 kirtan。
So when Lord Shiva was praising them, and he's praising his wife also because she was clapping her hands, he was praising them because they had shown so much pure devotion.
他赞扬了这些人，也赞扬了他自己的妻子 Parvati 的鼓掌技能，因为他们都从发自纯粹的奉爱这样去做的。
So Narada, seeing all this, Narada became ecstatic, and he also danced enthusiastically.
纳尔的目睹了这一场景，他变得狂喜了，他本人也变得满腔热情地跳起舞来。
And he offered his obeisances, and he did not want to stop playing his veena.
他致以顶拜，他也不想停止演奏他的维纳琴。
But he would show respect just by nodding his head.
他仅仅是通过点头示意来表达自己的敬意。
So Narada wanted to say something to show his approval of Lord Shiva's behavior.
纳尔想要开口说一些什么，来表明他对于主 Shiva 的行为的赞许。
So Narada began to say what Brahma had told him about Lord Shiva's glories.
纳尔就开始来一一的描述 Brahma 告诉他的主 Shiva 的所有的荣耀。
So we'll hear more in the next class.
我们下一节课将会聆听到更多的内容。
Okay, are there any questions?
Yes， 第一个问题是 Raja Devidasi， 顶拜 Guru， 请问奉献者可以绕拜海拉山吗？
Can you circumambulate Kailash mountain?
Yes. Can devotee go to circumambulate?
Well, but you want to go to the Kailash outside the universe? Very difficult.
你要是想去这个宇宙之外的凯拉什山，特别难的。
But the Kailash in the universe, yeah, you can go if you like.
但是在这个宇宙之内的那个凯拉什山，你要是想去就可以去。
Yes, go and offer your respects.
是的，您可以去向这个凯拉山表达敬意。
Okay.
我们看第二个问题是来自于大死，眼耳鼻舌身意带给我们的是短暂的快乐，可为什么痛苦会更长久呢？还要去疗愈它。
Translate.
Yeah. Our eyes, nose, ears, tongues, and this touch, and our mind can give us only temporary happiness, but the miseries are longer than the happiness, and we have to even to cure those miseries. So what's the reason behind it?
The reason is Krishna doesn't want us to become attached to this material world.
原因就是 Krishna 不想让我们依附这个物质世界。
Krishna wants us to know there's no happiness in the material body.
Krishna 希望我们知道，在这个物质躯体，在这个物质躯体身上是找不到快乐。
The material body is meant for suffering.
我们得到这具物质躯体，就是为了给我们痛苦。
We have to give up the material body.
我们必须要放弃物质躯体。
You should know, just a source of misery.
Just a social misery.
A source. It's a source of misery.
OK， 你要知道，这个物质躯体是痛苦的根源。
It's so easy to get suffering in the body and so difficult to enjoy.
从这个 个物质躯体当中呢，可以轻而易举的得到种种的苦恼烦恼，但是要想享受这个躯体的话，却不那么容易，很难。
Okay.
下一个问题是，continue， 孩子是不是需要去读书接受物质教育呢？而直接修习灵性可不可以呢？Should the children go do our children need to go to school to accept the material education? Can they directly practice spiritual life instead of the material education?
Yes. Yes, they can. If you can arrange it with the government, if you can get the approval.
如果您可以让政府同意的话，那么您可以让政府做出这种安排。
Yes.
Maybe he means that the children stay at home and to practice spiritual, to go on with spiritual practice and do not go outside.
Yes. Homeschooling. Yeah, good.
OK，是的，家庭教育也很好。
The mother can teach the child.
母亲可以教育孩子。
The child can learn very quickly at home. Go to school, everything takes a long time. Have to waste so much time. But at home, they can study very quickly everything.
孩子们在家学习，他们的学习速度很快。但如果孩子们去学校，需要花很长的时间学习，而且呢，很浪费时间。他们在家学习会很快。下一个问题是satsanga，顶拜 Guru 的莲花族，顶拜所有的奉献者。主 Shiva 是主 Krishna 的伟大奉献者。他的追随者为什么很少是奉献者，多数是非奉献者？请教 Gurudev。
Yes.
Satsanga Maharaji says that although Lord Shiva is the great devotee of Lord Krishna, while among his followers there are few devotees, most of them are non-devotees.
Yes. Because they don't understand fully the position of Lord Shiva.
是的，您说的很对，因为他们不能充分的理解主 Shiva 的地位。
Because they bring their material desires into the worship of Lord Shiva.
因为他们在崇拜主 Shiva 的时候，掺杂了他们自己的物质欲望。
Generally, the followers of Lord Shiva, they're all atheists.
一般而言，主 Shiva 的追随者们大部分都是无神论者。
So there is different potency. Lord Shiva has his cheating potency and he has his real mercy. So most people who come to Lord Shiva, they come with material desires. So they get cheated by Lord Shiva. They don't get the real mercy of Lord Shiva.
主 Shiva 有不同的能量，它有欺骗能量，它也有真正的仁慈。所以大部分崇拜主 Shiva 的都带着物质的愿望，所以他们就被他的欺骗能量所欺骗了，并没有获得主 Shiva 真正的仁慈。
Yes.
下一个问题是 Smokey Dada Dasi。 敬拜奉献者们，感恩古的精彩讲课。既然主施瓦这么好，有的新奉献者觉得对主施瓦的奉献者古的感觉，对主施瓦的奉献者古的感觉感觉更好，是否可以追随帕达玛西瓦当代主施瓦的化身修行去海拉什山和去灵魂世界一样吧？奉献者觉得对主施瓦献者什么意思啊？不懂。我们可以追随，有的这个奉献者觉得他的马西瓦大师非常有爱、仁慈，没那么多要求。Thank you, Guru, for your wonderful lecture. Since Lord Shiva is so nice, some neophytes feels that Padma Shiva Master is very affectionate, merciful. There's not so much demand from him. Therefore,
who is that?
Can they follow?
Who is Padma Shiva?
这个 Padma Shiva 大师是谁呢？什么提发的
Is this the name of somebody? Some person?
是某个人的名？Yeah, it's the incarnation of the modern Lord Shiva. She says that it's the modern incarnation of Lord Shiva.
What do you mean the modern incarnation?
那您说他是主 Shiva 当代主 Shiva 化身是什么意思呢？
Is somebody living on the planet today, walking the earth?
是不是某个在当今年代活着的，在这个地球上行走的人呢？He is preaching all over the globe, a great master. He claimed he is the incarnation of Lord Shiva.
Okay. So what does he say?
那这大师他的言论是什么？
No, what does she say? What's the question?
Her question is that can the neophytes follow this great master because they feel that he's so merciful, he's so affectionate, and they have such a nice feeling towards him.
Well,
and thinks that in the lecture it says that Lord Shiva is very wonderful.
Okay, if he is an incarnation of Lord Shiva, can he do like Lord Shiva? Can he drink an ocean of poison?
那如果他是主 Shiva 真正的化身的话，他能不能像主 Shiva 那样，能把一汪洋毒液喝下去呢？
Anyway, if he's the incarnation of Lord Shiva, is he a devotee of Lord Sankarshan? Lord Shiva, we're hearing, is a great devotee of Lord Sankarshan. So does this Padma Shiva, does he also worship Lord Sankarshan?
我们在课中听到说，主 Shiva 他就崇拜着他的神像 Sankarshan。那么这位化身，他是不是像主 Shiva 那样崇拜着是主 Sankarshan 的奉献者，也崇拜主 Sankarshan 呢？
If he's actually an incarnation of Lord Shiva, he should do like Lord Shiva. He should be a great Vaishnava.
如果他 如果 ，sorry, can you repeat?
If he is if he is an incarnation of Lord Shiva, then he should also be like Lord Shiva. He should be a great devotee. He should be a great Vaishnava. Lord Shiva is the greatest Vaishnava, so he should also be a great Vaishnava.
OK， 那如果这位大师他真正的就像他所宣称的是指主师傅的化身的，那他能不能他的行为举止像主师傅那样？因为主师傅是一个奉献者，他是一位歪什那瓦，是主最伟大的歪什那瓦。那如果他真正的是主师傅化身的话，他应该就像主师傅那样行为举止，并且是主的歪什那瓦奉献者。
Yeah.
She continued to ask that 去凯拉山和去灵是一样吧？It seems is it it's the same that we go to Kailash mountain here and go to the Kailash in the spiritual world.
Well, Kailash is not in the spiritual world. It's between the material world and the spiritual world.
凯拉什它不在灵魂世界，它是在灵魂世界和物质世界二者之间。
So if you want to go there, yeah, you can go there.
如果您想去那儿的话，可以去。
We don't want to go there. We want to go to Krishna.
我们不想去那里，我们想去 Krishna 那里。
And those people who are actually devotees of Lord Shiva, they will, if they get the real mercy of Lord Shiva, they will become Vaishnavas and they will worship Lord Vishnu.
那些主师傅真正的奉献者，他们会得到主师傅真正的仁慈，变成 Vaishnava， 他们会崇拜主 Vishnu。
Okay, yes?
那接下来下一个问题是 Nityananda Ram Das Hare Krishna 顶拜般若莲花族，顶拜所有的奉献者。请问海拉是在泛光之上的灵性世界吗？
Kailash Zainali?
在situated in the beyond the Brahman Jyoti, situated in the spiritual world.
No, it's not in the spiritual world. It's between the material world and the spiritual world.
凯拉什不在灵性世界，凯拉什在物质世界之上，在灵性世界之下，在二之间。
It's outside the covering of the universe. Outside the covering of the material universe.
凯拉什山呢，是在这个物质宇宙外壳之上的外面。
But it's not in the spiritual world.
但它也没有在灵性世界之内。
Yeah.
下一个是你。当今年代，现在40岁的Padma Shiva 是主 Shiva 的化身吗？在 Padma Shiva 课程里有许多祭祀需要花很多钱，这是被主 Krishna 允许的吗？Let's continue with the question about Padma Shiva. She said, this master is more than 40 years old, and is he really an incarnation of Lord Shiva? And there are many sacrifice yagya in his courses, in Padma Shiva's courses, and cost a lot of money. Is it sanctioned by Lord Krishna?
No.
没有。
But it sounds like he's a good businessman. He's making a lot of money.
但听上去他 很擅长做生意，赚很多钱可以。
Lord Krishna wants people to teach spiritual knowledge, wants people to teach surrender to Krishna. Yajna is not the process for the Kali Yuga. Yajnas, in the Kali Yuga, we are not able to chant the mantras properly. So the mantras are not effective. The real process for the Kali Yuga is chanting the holy name.
Krishna 希望人们希望人去教导世人灵性的知识，教导人们该如何臣服，向 Krishna 臣服。Yagya 这个程序呢，并不适用于卡利年代，因为卡利年的人不能正确的来念诵曼陀罗，所以他们的念诵是不会奏效的。在卡利年代的正确的程序方法是唱诵圣名。
The process of yagya was for the Treta Yuga, because to do yagya you need a lot of money, you need a lot of wealth to do the yagyas properly, and you need qualified Brahmins. You need qualified Brahmins also.
Yagya 是 Treta 年代的方法，是白银年代的。要举行雅格雅祭祀需要很多的钱，需要大量的财富，还需要合格的婆罗门。
Yes.
下一个问题是来自于 Chaitanya Charan， Hare Krishna Demagurde 在《博德梵歌》第8章9到13世节 ，Krishna 讲的六轮瑜伽 Satchakra Yoga 和第6章讲的禅定瑜伽是一样的吗？
I didn't get it all.
In the Bhagavad Gita chapter 8, verse 9 to 13, Krishna talk about Satchakra Yoga. Is it the same as the Dhyana Yoga in chapter 6?
Not exactly.
不完全一样。
Chapter 6 is describing Astanga Yoga.
第6章讲的是 Astasanga Yoga， 八部瑜伽。
Right. So that in Astanga Yoga there's a process. You begin with different rules and regulations and the different steps of Astanga Yoga. But this Satchakra Yoga, this is just the meditation on the chakras. It's different.
就是八部瑜伽，它就有需要遵守不同的规则，然后一步一步的不同的步骤。而6轮瑜伽呢，就是冥想这个六轮。Continue， 在这几个世界中描述的境界是觉悟到超灵还是非人而犯？ So in these few verses, describe is the purpose to realize the super soul of the impersonal Brahman.
Which verses?
Chapter 8, verse 9 to 13, and.
Well, yeah, usually it's the super soul.
通常是指的是觉悟到超灵。 continue?
Yeah.
Sumukhi Radha Dasi explained that Padma Shiva is like a superstar, and he wears very opulent dress, and also he dresses like Parvati Devi to give darshan to everybody, and he seems very warm and compassionate, and his teaching is very attractive. But once the followers begin to follow him, it really needs a huge amount of money to do sacrifice, and he can speak very wonderful.
Oh, really? He's a Chinese?
Yes， 他的那个 Sumukhi Radha Dasi 他就是说，帕玛 Shiva 大师的讲课就像是明星出演，装扮华丽，还扮作 Parvati 女神，给大家 darshan， 笑非常温暖慈悲，教义非常吸引人。但是，一到跟随后，的确需要做很多巨额的祭祀费用。他的语言非常美好，在网上传播。
Well, I never heard about him before.
Sorry, Mark?
I never heard about him before.
Oh.
But she says he's teaching all over the world.
Spreading the teaching on the internet.
Where does he live? In Kailash?
那这位大师，他是不是居住在凯拉什山呢？他居住在哪里？
Does he have his wife with him?
这妻子是不是和他在一起？ He seems to live in America, and he is a brahmachari.
Oh, it's a brahmachari. No. Why does he need money if he's a brahmachari?
他是独身真手，他需要钱。
So, like we say, you know, if it was really incarnation of Lord Shiva is very compassionate on the ghosts and people like that. Lord Shiva gives a lot of mercy to people. He's a Vaishnava. So, what mercy is he giving? This Padma Shiva. If he's really incarnation of Shiva, where is his mood of Lord Shiva? Where is he showing the compassion to people? He's just teaching, making money, charging so much money. Just something for the rich people.
那么主Shiva呢，他是他对于那些鬼魂呢，他特别仁慈，他给予人们他给予众生以怜悯，而这位帕玛这位化身呢，他对世人的怜悯之情是展现在哪里呢？他似乎是就是管人们要很多钱，然后他们这个肾好像是不正。Kirada said that, yes, you are right, Guru.
Okay.
Yeah, many followers in 太多祭祀了。中国很多追随者做大量祭祀，有的是卖了房子做祭祀。 many people in China follow him, and they even sell their houses and to be yagya. There are too many yagya.
OK， 还有问题吗？
没有了。
OK， 我们今天讲到这儿。Hare Krishna， 感谢 Guru Mukhi， 给我们感谢 Guru Mani Mataji 翻译，我们感谢所有的放先生聆听提问，我们祝福你们好好念诵，多唱歌，看书。我们不能浪费时间做合计呀，我们多看听课讲书，讲 Hare Krishna， 讲 Krishna 的荣耀。Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki.
Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Hare Krishna.